wanted a reading for this week that wasn't in the Bible. It's the words of that song. And maybe those words will ring in your mind for the rest of the week. To some extent, I hope they do, because it really does bring in what I want to say this morning in this series on finding freedom. We're halfway through now. Just to mention the Reader's One, if you've seen that today, hopefully you've been given a copy, do take that with you. It's for the next quarter's readings and themes on Sundays, but more importantly it's for you to read during the week and to focus your attention on a particular Bible reading and even the question or the challenge that you find there each week. So this morning I want to start us by thinking for you to imagine that you are in prison. Perhaps not the most positive thought of the day, but just bear with me for a moment and imagine you are in prison. Some of us have visited at least prisons and can imagine a little bit more of what that is like. But I'm sure we can all imagine really what it is like to be incarcerated, to be put away in a room for a long time. And imagine you've been there quite a while, a number of years, and you're only halfway through your sentence. So you've got what is behind you, you've still got in front of you as well, and you're there in the prison. And then one day, while you were there in the prison, a warden comes up to you and he says, "I've got an offer to make you. You can get out of prison today for one day. Only one day. Are you interested?" And of course, you are. I mean, who wouldn't be? You've been in for so many years in prison and you're being offered a day out of prison. He says, "Okay, here's the terms and conditions. You are totally free for 24 hours. No bars, no handcuffs, no prison clothes, no tags. You can eat what you like, you can choose where you go, whatever you want for 24 hours. Do we have a deal?" I mean, who wouldn't say yes to that? 24 hours free, away from being captive. And even if it was for only one day, for 24 hours, you'd kind of say, that's a pretty good deal. I went in on that. I want to agree to that. Because you'd been locked up. It's a great offer. And so you abandon your bonds, you open, the doors open for you, you get regular clean clothes, and you walk through the gates of the prison and step into freedom for a day. Can you imagine how free that freedom is? Even if it lasts only for a day. So, okay, you can imagine this now. After your day of freedom, after being out doing what you want, wherever you go, and you just felt this is amazing, you have to go back to prison. And as you walk through the doors of the prison again, the warden taps you on the shoulder and says, "Come into the office. I have an offer to make you. You can get out of prison today. For one day. Only one day. Are you interested?" And he repeats the offer and the terms and conditions for another day out. Another day of freedom. And he asks you, are you interested in taking up this offer? And of course, you should say, yes, I agree to that. It's a deal. I get out for another 24 hours. And you have one day of freedom. Another day to get out and do whatever you choose without feeling the restrictions of prison life. And the next day, upon your return to the prison, you have now had 2 days of freedom and you walk through the doors knowing that you've got a long-term sentence ahead of you. And the warden calls you over and says, "I've got an offer to make you." You know where it's heading then. You've got a day, same terms and conditions, you've got a day of freedom, no bars, no shackles, no tax. You can do whatever you like for 24 hours and then you have to come back again. You'd be ready for that, wouldn't you? A third day. And you don't know how long this is going to last. You don't know how long this little offer is going to happen. So, it might stop at any time. So you've got to go, yeah, this is another day. I've got a third day to get out and do whatever I want. And well, I knew what I did yesterday, and I knew what I did the day before, and now I just want to try this, and I want to go there. And you've got like a little list now of this freedom for 24 hours, because you don't know when you go back tomorrow when you're going to get another day, but you've got this day. Because technically it's only one day of freedom. But you don't want to let it get away, so you make the most of that one day. And there are people here, even this morning, who say, you know what, I can kind of relate to that. Because even though I'm not in that kind of prison with 4 walls and bars in front of me, I know what it's like to be bound up. I know what it's like to feel chained down because of sin, because of my past, because of some bad habit, because of some addiction, because of some guilt that I'm holding inside me. And I know what it's like to feel like I'm in a cell. And what I wouldn't give for a day away from all that's going on inside me. What I wouldn't give for 24 hours having all this taken off me so I feel free. 24 hours without, if you like, those bars in my life. And this series, you will know, is based on the words of Jesus. That simple sentence which kind of says, I have come to give you life, and life in all its fullness. In other words, freedom in all its fullness. To enjoy life how it was meant to be enjoyed. And in week 1, when we started this series, I talked about hope. To have hope about the future. To have hope about freedom. Last week we looked about our emotions, because our emotions so often hold us back. We feel bound down by our emotions. And I spoke about how we can break free of some of those. If you weren't here last week, it's on our website, it's on YouTube. Today I want to give you, if you like, another key for freedom. And just like that prisoner who was granted freedom for 24 hours at a time, and who was determined to make the most of those 24 hours because he didn't know when the offer was going to stop, you and I need to learn to make the most of every single day. One day at a time, sweet Jesus. In order to live life in all its fullness, as Jesus said, we need to understand one fundamental truth. Success only lasts one day. Freedom only lasts one day. Victory lasts only one day. And then tomorrow, it's time to go back and do it again. Like the prisoner. We have this day. We don't know what's going to really happen tomorrow. So we had this day today. The life of liberty in Jesus Christ is lived out one day at a time. This day, the day that we're living in right now. And today's reading is one verse from Psalm 90 and verse 12. And it is this: teach us to number our days aright, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Teach us to number our days aright, that we may gain wisdom. In other words, David is saying, Lord, help me to count our days, to understand that there are only so many days in my life, and I need to live those. I need to count them out. I need to measure them. And we're going to be thinking about that for a few minutes this morning. We need the wisdom to know what to do with this 24 hours that we are in now, today. So many feel like we are bound up. That's why we're doing this series on finding freedom. And so often we think about our days rushing by and we can't seem to break free to use the 24 hours that we have today and the way that we know we should. I mean, who has said, someday I'll do better. Someday I will get organised. Someday I will get serious about my relationship with God. Someday I will get serious about my health. Someday I'll get serious about spending time with my family. Someday I'm going to do something about this. Someday. Some other 24 hours. To which the warden in our illustration would say, how about today? I'm giving you today. Go out and be free and do what you believe is right to do in this 24 hours. How would you make the most of your next 24 hours from now until, say, midday tomorrow, if you could? What is the thing that would make you feel free? What is it that you keep having in your mind? I would love to do this, but the days are filling up, my calendar's filling up, all sorts of other reasons why we don't do what we do. But what if we said, right, today is the day of freedom. The next 24 hours, I should be doing this. Every day you are given 1,440 minutes. The question is, what would you do with those 1,440 minutes? We talked a little bit about it at Message Church, if you were there. But I want to give you some homework. Because on the other side of our new sheet, I hope I haven't made a mistake on that, you will see not our often either blank or a response form, but you will see this daily essentials on there. I want you to take it home with you. I don't want you to stick it in the drawer or throw it in the bin or leave it here behind you. I want you to take it with you today, and I want you to work on this little bit of homework. Because I want you to set aside some time. Don't tell me you haven't got time. Set aside some time, because this is important, I believe. To think about what is essential, or you consider essential, to do each day. Not that you're necessarily doing it now, but if you could, if you were given 24 hours of your life of freedom to go out and do what you think is essential, and it doesn't have to be something, really silly or exciting or some one-off. This is a daily thing. What do you think you should be doing each day? Time alone with God? Meal time with family or friends? A little bit of exercise? A little bit of reading? Sufficient sleep? You know what it is for you. What is important enough that you should be doing every single day? And we have these kind of nutritional bits of information and this kind of this daily intake. You should have certain things, certain foods, certain drink and so on. You should have every day so that you stay healthy and so on. Certain food groups, certain drink that we should be having. And so what I'm kind of challenging each of us to do is to take this little card on the back of your seat, divided into 3 sections. for us to think about those three sections in our life. And what it is, say, if we woke up tomorrow morning, what is it that we feel that we should do each day? Whether we're doing it at the moment, whether we feel we've got even time for it at the moment, that's irrelevant. To write down physically, what should I be doing every day? Maybe it's just 10 minutes of exercise. Whatever it is for you. I should be having, a certain amount of food. I should be having certain drink. I should be, keeping my physique right, keeping my health right. So there's a physical side. Then also there is the spiritual side. What is it I should be doing spiritually each day? I should be giving perhaps a certain amount of time, and you must decide what that certain amount of time is. I should give a certain amount of time to reading God's Word. Whether it's 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 hour, What is it essential to you? What do you think as a person, as a follower of Christ, you should be doing spiritually? How much time in prayer should you be doing? How much in other things? How much worship? Whatever it is for you. What is my essential daily intake, if you like, of spiritual nourishment? And then relational. What should I be doing with others? Should I be phoning up a relative? Should I be meeting up with so-and-so? Should I be mixing with other people? Again, you need to write that down every day. Should I be doing this rather than just keeping myself to myself or not talking to such and such a person? What should I be doing on a daily basis? And kind of fill this out for you. Maybe over time it'll change. But at least for now, sit down, please, for a few minutes. Surely you can find a few minutes today. Just write down what it is you think you should be doing on a daily basis. And then, if you're saying it's essential, make it part of your daily life from now on. Because if you're saying it's essential, you might not have had time for it in the past. You may have put other things in the way of the past, but now we're kind of getting serious and saying, this is what I should be doing with my time. And so from tomorrow onwards, I am going to read my Bible for 5 minutes. I am going to spend 15 minutes talking with God. I am going to do a bit of exercise. I am going to talk with other people and not keep myself to myself. Whatever it is for you. This is essential. All the other things that go on around me, okay, I'll take or leave those. But this, for me, is essential, and I'm going to make tomorrow, one day at a time, I'm going to do this tomorrow. If it helps, think about the prisoner being given 24 hours to go out and do what he feels is right. This is what this is. Your own 24 hours of what you feel you would do if you were free. And then to incorporate it into our lives. Okay, just a quick couple of other things. When it comes to thinking about our lives, we often think in terms of years. How old are you? I am 50 years old. Years. And that sounds big. And so we waste time because we kind of think in the bigger time scale so often. If we have £1 million, we would see the bigger number. Oh, that's £1 million. That's actually made up of £1,001 coins. And every one of those £1 coins is important to make up £1 million. You see, we have an abundance of certain things and we tend to lose sight of their value. Because we look forward and go, oh yes, this year, Christmas is 6 months away, I've got time. And we waste it. We devalue it because we think we've got more to come. But the prisoner always thought it's only one day at a time. I can only work for 24 hours on this. Each day matters. We live in this disposable culture. Please don't dispose of your time so frivolously. Don't just waste it. Don't just look back tomorrow evening and kind of go, what did I do today? Time just went. But to sit down and say, I've got some essentials I should be doing. Anything else is extra, but at least I know at the end of the 24 hours I've done this physically, I've done that spiritually, I've done that relationally. Each day matters. Jesus said, I have come to give you life in all its fullness. So one day at a time is important. I'm going to get my life sorted out one day at a time. That way it narrows it right down. We need to recognize the importance of one day. You know, when I was 12 years old, I was at a holiday club, and you know, the Bible verse that got me to commit my life to Christ at that holiday club, it was 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 2. Now is the time of God's favour. Now is the day of salvation. I still remember that verse being spoken of. And that was the day that I said, now is the time, this is the day, I'm going to do it. And that was the day I became a follower of Jesus Christ. If I didn't take that day, if I didn't take that moment in that day, who knows whether I'd be standing here this morning or not. That one moment, that one day is important. And God told me that day, this is the day, now is the day of your salvation. Take it. So we need to work on our days, one day at a time. I will say one thing in closing though. There is also a significance in 2 days. Because 2 days means that we are repeating day 1. We are following on. I could say there's a significance in 3. But you know what I'm saying? It's not just one day in that sense, isolation. When the man went back to the prison, the warden said, okay, you can repeat it again. And you can repeat it again. So once we kind of think, like we go home and we kind of think, yeah, these are my essentials, I'm going to do this for a day. Don't just do it for a day, kind of say, okay, when I wake up on Tuesday, I'm going to do this again. And so you might want to tweak it, you might want to say, well actually I could use this day better than I did that day because I've thought of some other things. But we keep going. And that is important. How do we find freedom? Part of finding freedom is that we choose to live each single day. We purposefully choose to live every single day, specifically because today matters. Success, remember, only lasts one day. We can walk in victory today. What matters to you most today, you should do and not put off until tomorrow. Let's bow in prayer. Father God, we thank you that in this world you have given us 24 hours in a day. You've given us a time to rest. You've given us a time for recreation. You've given us a time to be able to get close to you. You've given us a time to work, given us a time to be with other people. Father, I pray that we may not get to the end of even this day, Sunday, the 30th of June, and look back and go, what did I do? What happened today? It just went so fast. I lost it. I've wasted it. Father, may we decide, even today, what it is that's important, and to run with it today. And then when we're given a new day tomorrow, we run with it again and give you praise and give you honour and be thankful for the day that we have. This is the day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. Amen.
Amen.
Let us declare at the conclusion of our time, Jesus is Lord, the cry that echoes through creation. Let us bring our